Next year, we'll be celebrating the 60th anniversary of the first year of issue Kennedy, first released in 1964. So it's time to take a pause and go back to a very, very special coin. It's that first year of issue 1964 in the finest known grade. That is a proof 69. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you folks, this is the highest grade that exists. There are no 70s out there in the world, period.
I think the important thing is, one, this is the first year of issue. We'll get more into the details on that. It's the fact that the Kennedy half dollar has been out there for 60 years. I mean, when's the last time you see one in circulation? Well, the reason why you haven't is, well, in 2001, that was the last year they made them for circulation. We loved them so much, they brought them back in 2002 just for collectors. So that means for the last 22 years, the Kennedy half dollar has been made for collectors only. And they still make 1.5 to 2 million coins a year for the collector base on this. Now, with that said, next year, 60th anniversary, oh my, fun.
Now, this is an example of how the proof sets looked at this time. This is a polypack featuring the Franklin, but the 1964 proof set was the same. It was a polypack. They didn't transition to these hard plastic lenses until 1968 and forward. The reason why we're showing you these sets is because that's why the grades just aren't high. The numbers of 70s don't exist on this one, and in numbers of 69, you're looking at only 9,708 coins made that grade of 69 out of 3.9 million proof sets. In that poly proof set, there's an air bubble. The coin could move around within it. It was in an envelope, and at that time, when somebody ordered a proof set, the mint would just write your address on the envelope and ship it in the mail. So it ended up traveling its way through the mail system, and you know how that goes. And then if people even bought them in bulk, they moved them around. My point is, the coins were not stationary. And 50, 60 years later, we're finding that because of the way they were presented, pre-packaged, and stored, we just don't have high grades.
So the holy grail, finding the finest coin, is the search for a 67, 68, or a 69, with the 69 being the ultimate, highest grade, nothing finer. Compared to today's market where it's nothing but a 70. We want perfection, right? So now, let's just look at numbers. They made 3.9 million proof sets in 1964, just like that, right? And then in the last 35 years of NGC doing what they do, which is they certify and give us their opinion, and then they get paid. They've only certified 9,708 of them. It's under 10,000 coins known this nice for a coin that's almost 60 years old. But here's the comparison. Using today's hot buttons. Today's big silver coin is the Silver Eagle. Back then it was the Kennedy half dollar. That was the largest coin in circulation. The most limited Silver Eagle of all time is that S enhanced reverse proof, right? 2019. They made 30,000 coins, and in perfect 70 today, about a third of them are there. There's 9,885 in 70. But here is the significant difference for us in the conversation here. That's a $4,000 coin with 10,000 known. This is the first ever Kennedy. It's the finest ever Kennedy. It's rarer than that S-enhanced reverse proof by a couple of coins. But it's also, well, our competition's at $199.98. We're $50 less than that tonight. We're at $149.95. That's the head scratcher part of this conversation. It's rarer, it's older, and it's more affordable.
I'm going to take it a step further, and let's do another comparison to another Kennedy half dollar. Now, in 2014, the United States Mint issued a special 50th anniversary set. If you recall, there was a 4-piece set. Within it was a Philadelphia proof, a Denver Mint satin, a West Point reverse proof, and a San Francisco enhanced. Now, the high relief proof in that set has 10,881 known in 70. It sells for about the same. The finest grade, the finest known, is a 70 in that one. 10,881 though. This one, far less.
Well, 60 years older.
60 years older.
Comparable, highest known to highest known. So if I'm looking at where do I want to go? what I do know is one thing. The numbers aren't changing on the old stuff. They might change a little bit on the new stuff. That's just normal, right? But these old numbers, these old coins, the numbers inside of them are kind of stationary. They kind of stay there. If somebody finds 10 proof sets and one of them is great, that goes up by 1. Where if I send in 50 of the 2014 4-coin set, it might go up 10, 15, 20. Right now, the numbers are telling us it's about 30% theoretically, so guess what? But this is the deal. That's how they came, which is why they don't exist in 70. This is how they do it today, which is why they do show up in 70. Big part of the curve is understanding where it came from. But this tonight, it's like you're a vintage car collector, and you want to buy that 57 Chevy, right? With no miles, cherry, it's been on the show floor, never been driven. And tonight you get to have that for less than the one somebody drove around town for a while, just got it washed, and it's a beautiful car. But yours is way rarer, better condition, and a more affordable. Yet it's not normally in that scenario. You expect to be paying a lot more. But again, today's market is all about the new stuff, forgetting about all the great old stuff. And this is some of the great old stuff, right?
It sure is. 60 years ago, that's the first ever Kennedy half dollar in the series. It's a 90% silver proof. This was the end of the era for 90% silver proof sets made at the Philadelphia Mint. For the next 3 years, they did not make proofs for mint sets. They only made those special mint sets. And then San Francisco took over in 1968. And going forward, they made proof sets every year. So these are the end of the era for the 90% silver proof sets out of Philadelphia. The beginning of the Kennedy half dollar series, the only 90% silver proof. So beyond all those other amazing details, there we have a rarity factor, a beginning of an era factor, and we do have to put a 1-minute clock up. Sorry, folks, I was reading two things at the same time. 1-minute clock, though. Phones are very, very busy, and we are counting these down as we speak. 149.95. Our competition, the closest one we found was 199.98, but they did range anywhere from $200 to $400 a piece. So you can see they agree with us, and they think that this is a very special coin.
Well, the answer is it is. I mean, bookends, firsts and lasts, are always significant to collectors. But firsts are really that place. The first Morgan, the first piece, right? This is the first Kennedy, right? The first Kennedy. But it's not any Kennedy. It's the collector proof. So it's the finest condition. And tonight, we have not only the finest condition, we have the finest certified known on the planet, which means there is nothing finer than a 69 grade. The comparables out there make you want to just dive in head first, because for value, $149.95, we're $50 lower than our closest competitor. Most of them are closer to $300, and tonight we have it. Hopefully, looking at that proof set right there gives you an idea as to why, because when you get that hard plastic lens, it makes the modern 70s so much easier. One more look at that. There you go. That's why we don't have 70s on this 1964. It's time for us to be moving on.